Welcome to the Outtakes Movie Podcast, where we're going to go through every movie ever made and rank them best to worst of all time. As always, I'm joined by Amelia. Welcome to the show.
Hi.
Jacob.
Good evening.
Joe.
Yo.
And I am going to need a goddamn drink. This is the visual gag you guys can definitely see.
Oh, whoa, that's so funny, Sam. I'm loving it.
Heart.
Amazing.
Every time. Beautiful.
Because today we are doing Bad Boys, Michael Bay. Jacob, tell us about Bad Boys.
So, where to even begin? Bad Boys, 1995. It was Michael Bay's directorial debut. Although...
It's all the blame lays on this film then.
Essentially, although I think of all Michael Bay, this is the least amount of Michael Bay you're gonna get.
Yeah,
Are you sure?
He does get worse from here. Yeah.
Yeah,
This is already got his
honestly,
taste for it.
does. So, but what I found interesting was while I was watching it, as all the titles come up, Michael Bay's name is only just mentioned way at the end.
Yeah.
Like, it seems like everyone else.
He's a non-entity on this product. Basically, he's not a selling
Sort
point.
of.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Like this, it was more about the producers wanting to make the film rather than him.
Yeah.
So the main two, you got this little producer duo. It was Jerry Bruckheimer and Don Simpson. These two guys were the main producers behind it. So I was having a look at some of the films that these two have done. And most of the ones they've done together, but some of the standouts from this list that Bruckheimer's done. We've got all the Pirates of the Caribbean films.
Okay. Mixed bag, but you know. Yeah.
National Treasure 1 and 2.
Oh
Nice.
boy.
Nice. That's one that I want to cover, actually, at some point. Good film, you know. Good film.
Do you guys ever remember G-Force?
Yes.
No way.
Yes.
The
Is that the one with the
Spy Guinea Pigs?
hamsters?
That was this guy.
That's a much better movie.
We've got that one. Con Air.
Oh my god,
The
Con
Nick
Air.
Cage movie.
The Nick Cage movie. What else we got on here? Pearl Harbor
Yeah.
Oh, okay, fair
and
enough.
Armageddon.
Oh, of course.
So that kind of sets the tone.
Yeah.
I think.
Bruckheimer's working on the new one as well.
I think he is.
Bad Boys 3 Life. Yeah, he's working on the
Bad
new
Boys 3 Life. That it should be called 3 Life. It absolutely. I don't. They missed a trick there.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah, Don Simpson's done and most things that Bruckheimer's done, but he's done less. I think that's mostly just because he's dead,
Yeah.
so
Didn't
he
it-
can't be making any more.
Wasn't he, like, crazy into, like, drugs and stuff? Like, really bad. He was, like, a proper...
Didn't know that.
Yeah.
I think it was. I had it written down somewhere. There's a story. We'll get to that.
Go on.
But surprisingly, would you believe that this won an award
Fuck
and
off.
was
What?
nominated for 3?
A Razzie, surely. That's the award it won.
No, so it was nominated for a Grammy for the best song.
What song?
Yep.
I honestly can't remember any songs that were in it.
I mean,
Paul?
Bad Boys.
Other than Bad Boys.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, okay.
But
I
that wasn't
suppose.
made for this. It was a different
Oh,
song. And the MTV Movie Awards, it was nominated for Best Music.
My
wow.
God.
I mean,
Also
to be fair,
got-
I watched the trailer and it did have a lot of pretty big music names. It it was like featuring music from. I think the music was more of a selling point.
Probably.
Yeah.
They also got a nomination from MTV for Best On-Screen Duo.
Wow.
Which,
Were they, like,
yeah.
arguing the whole time? Like,
Yeah.
what's that about?
There was
They
no
were. That's-
charisma. Well, that's a thing to watch out for with Michael Bay. So he's got a lot of quirks that show up in all of his movies, and one of them is that male characters are not allowed to like each other ever. If they're friends, they're constantly arguing. A Michael Bay scene format goes: Man 1 says something, Man 2 disagrees, regardless of Man 2's characteristics or what he would actually think. Always.
Yeah.
Well, hold on to that thought. we're gonna come back to that as well. So this, what it won? It won the BMI Film Music Award.
Wow.
I'd never heard of what that
Nope.
was. But to be fair, watching the just the intro, the little like guitar riff you got going on with like a bit of orchestral stuff.
Yeah.
If that wasn't a better movie, I feel like people would remember it. Like it's solid. It's all right.
It's a good open, I think. Yeah.
Do you reckon?
The open is strong. I think.
I've got on my very last page of notes covering 2 lines just the words "score is bad."
Well,
so I disagree with you.
Fair enough. But yeah, so we start, and off air, Sam pointed out to me that Michael Bay is either an orange movie or a blue movie. Mm-hmm. And straight away you start watching this, and you're just flooded with orange.
Orange.
It's just orange. You've got this beautiful landscape, which is supposed to be Miami. Fun fact, actually shot in LA.
Yeah.
So it's all the same, really.
Movie magic.
Yeah.
All the same.
And yeah, it's bright orange. Originally, as well, found this out, it was going to be set in New York and not Miami, which I think would have tonally could have changed the film, don't you think?
Yeah.
A lot of it would have made
been
less sense. Like Miami's a big drug state. Like that's a thing,
exactly.
You know.
Yeah, it would have been more like. Honestly, I kind of like that it's in Miami though, because like you don't get like a whole lot set in Miami, but you get a lot set in New York. You get a lot more set in New York than you do Miami. Like it's.
I mean, I like New York, so I think I'd have gone for New York.
Oh, New York's like a better city, I think, but like I quite like Miami just for crime stuff because you don't get it. Just because I grew up with GTA Vice City, so you know.
Vice City is the best Grand Theft Auto game, and I will fight anyone who disagrees with me.
You know what? I agree for 100%. Best one. Love it.
So, yeah, we've got them driving along in this. It's a Porsche, that car.
It's like an advert for the Porsche.
Fact, it's a great advert for Porsche.
0 to 60 in under 4 seconds. All these like, beautiful lush.
Amazing. Hasn't got cup holders though.
No.
It's limited edition.
No back seat.
But that car is Michael Bay's own car.
Yeah, that's
He
alright.
lent it to the production of the film because the budget wasn't the highest of films.
Yeah.
That was
Mad.
basically
19 million.
It
was the budget.
It was 19 million.
Wow.
But I'm not sure if you guys have looked it up. If you have, don't guess. But do you want to take a stab at what it made in the box office?
I honestly have no idea.
What was the budget again?
Budget was 19 mil.
19. Is it okay? I can't really ask if it did good or bad. That kind of gives away a bit too much.
I mean, hint: Michael Bay is allowed to still make movies.
I'm gonna say it did okay. Then I'm gonna say because it was Will Smith and oh my god, that's so bad. That other guy, what's his name?
Martin Lawrence.
That's the one, Martin Lawrence. I'm gonna guess 30 mil. I don't know. I'm not good with maths.
Joe?
I was gonna say 35 mil. Maybe.
Sam, do you know what the answer
I
is?
do know what the answer is.
So the box office, the figure I got was $141.4 million.
Wow.
Yeah, it made a lot.
Yeah, nice. it made a lot.
Crazy.
I mean, Fresh Prince in his prime.
Well, isn't that like in the middle of it? Like, while he was like in the middle of Fresh Prince. And wasn't Martin Lawrence in something else as well?
He was in a TV show
What's
called
happening
Martin.
now?
Martin and What's Happening Now, I think.
Yeah.
I think it was just called whatever that was.
Yeah.
But the choice to cast these two was well relatively more interesting story than just we'll have them. Originally, the script was going to be called the film was going to be called, what have I written down? Bulletproof Hearts.
Okay.
Yeah. I've heard that.
I think I prefer the title Bad Boys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
gonna
a
go
lot
with it.
better. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that sounds like a Kingdom Hearts expansion pack.
Right?
So
So it was not a great title, but the two leads who were eyed up were, I mean, I'm probably going to butcher these names because my knowledge of 90s American actors is not amazing, was John Iovitz and Dana Carvey, who were popular for their SNL stuff.
right.
So they were quite similar sort of background to Will Smith and Martin Lawrence.
Yeah.
But the biggest, or the most interesting thing was these two are both white guys, and casting two black guys for a buddy cop movie was the studio wasn't a massive fan of it.
It didn't happen at the time. It did not happen.
No, it wasn't. It didn't happen.
Like a black guy and a white guy, plenty of that. But
Sure,
double
but
black
not
guys
two
did
black
not
guys.
happen. Yeah.
No. Then there are several stories that I've seen of how we ended up getting the cast that we got. One of them is that we were going to have Wesley Snipes and Eddie Murphy at one stage.
I read that actually. Yeah, I read
Snipes
that.
and
Yeah.
Eddie Murphy.
That's a weird.
That would have. When you talk about tonal change, like that
Yeah.
wouldn't.
I mean,
That would've been
Wesley
like a
Snipes is
like-
all I can think of is Blade.
Yeah,
Mhm.
literally like
Blade in this movie doing Blade stuff.
doing Blade stuff.
Did
That would have been
tangent about Wesley Snipes. Is anyone watching the What We Do in the Shadows TV show?
No.
no.
They get together like a vampire council, and Tilda Swinton is the head of the vampire council as herself. And Wesley Snipes is also in the vampire council as himself.
That's
Amazing.
amazing.
Yeah.
That's
How have
amazing.
they got him to do that? That's wow. Fair enough. We've gone from killing them to actually he was
He
a
was a
vampire.
vampire, yeah, in
he was a
Blade, yeah.
vampire.
Yeah.
I like that. So yeah, their first pick was where's his name gone? Some other dude. There it is.
Oh, yeah.
Arsenio Hall. Again, he was pretty popular at the time. I'm not sure if this is like it kind of sucks because I've heard some say that he turned the role down, but the other story is that Michael Bay just happened to catch an episode of Fresh Prince even, and went, oh, we'll have Will Smith instead.
Oh,
So
man.
I'm not sure which one of those is true, but
I mean,
Got
it
Will
sounds
Smith.
like something Michael Bay would do.
yeah.
it does, doesn't it? So honestly, don't know which is true. There was another story. What I was saying earlier, Joe, about how Don Simpson was a bit of a
Yeah.
fucking party boy.
I think I know what story you're about. Yeah.
Yeah.
think I read it as
So
well.
one account says that rather than the studio just picking these two actors eventually and being reluctant about it, Don Simpson took the two white guys who were going to do it to Las Vegas to celebrate, but one of them, Carvey, didn't like the way Don Simpson was at all. Like he was just
Yeah.
total mad party boy, and so withdrew from the project. So they had to
Oh.
Yeah.
find other people. Yeah, that was a bit of a casting tangent.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we back to the base, like vague plot of the movie. We get all the titles. Eventually, we get Michael Bay's name way down the line, but we get a big old Hollywood-style sign for Miami with a plane going
Yeah.
over it. It's just having some text in the bottom corner.
Yeah.
No one's gonna read that.
Yeah. Just in case you didn't know where it was set.
Exactly, we needed a big fuck
Miami.
on the screen, Miami. Now, I've personally not been to Miami, but
No.
is this sign a thing? Does every big city in America just have a Hollywood style sign of where
That's
you
a
are?
good question.
In case you
I
forget?
didn't even think.
See, I don't, because I know that the Hollywood sign. Do you ever have you heard the story about where the Hollywood sign came from?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, originally it was put up by a housing development company or something called, and it was originally said Hollywood Land. So when you watch films set in the 1920s LA, it says Hollywood Land, and then it was just kind of left there by the company or something, and then it was left, and it was proper decaying in the 70s and stuff, and they restored it and put loads of lights on it and stuff. I know that one of the O's was missing the bottom part, so it looked like an N or something like that, or some other way around. I can't remember. So I don't know if it was a similar thing in Miami, or if Miami saw Hollywood's and built theirs. I don't know, but
Exactly.
I don't, yeah,
But yeah, that was, in case you missed it. And then we get loads of landscape shots of just the city. You now know it's Miami. And
Yeah.
then slowly, the orange that we're used to turns into blue.
Yeah,
So,
Michael Bay's other
classic.
favorite color. Yeah.
yeah,
And that's so that you know it's nighttime, because when it gets dark, everything's blue, obviously. it's just
Yeah.
it naturally just turns blue.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure how pretentious I should go here, but I've got written down here, blue to represent police.
It's fair enough, you know.
I mean,
That would get you some high marks on a film essay, you know.
Not intentional. But
A star.
the
That,
door
you know.
was yellow because it was yellow. No, the scene was blue because they had police.
I fucking
That's
hate
nice.
Michael Bay.
Beautiful.
That was probably the
Absolutely
actual
incredible.
reason as well, you know. Like, oh my god.
But yeah, and so after we've been introduced to your two leads, Will Smith, Martin Lawrence, I'm gonna switch between calling them their real names and their character names. So
That's what I did in my notes.
yeah,
The-
it's
yeah.
gonna be atrocious. We're introduced to these criminals, led of course by the biggest bad at the time, some French dude.
Yeah.
Why does he have to be French? Why can't he just be some American crime
Yeah,
boss? Not
literally.
if he's got a French accent, you know he's a bad guy straight away.
Yeah, literally.
am I the only one that when I think of a gangster French person, I think of the frogs from Flushed Away?
Yes.
Whoa.
Is that really bad? Is that really? That was
Oh,
a good
man.
film.
Flushed Away. I'm
Sorry.
gonna
Tune
pick
in
that
next
film
week
one
for
of ours.
Flushed
Yeah.
Away.
Flushed Away.
Yeah, so they've got this French guy running this little group of crimbos,
Nice.
shooting their own guy. So you know he's ruthless. He's gonna kill one of their own, just in case you weren't sure. But like one of the first things I thought of is like, okay, he's just shot a guy in this van with all these other guys who are about to go do a heist. No one thinks a thing of the fact that this incredibly loud gunshot has just gone
Yeah.
off. That should have hurt, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, in a contained can, like a van.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then again, Michael Bay, he's not exactly known for his realism.
No.
No.
So-
Michael Bay, fascinatingly, Michael Bay basically almost misses the action in that shot as well.
Yeah,
Like he
you don't
zooms in
see
on the
muzzle
gun
flash.
and you almost miss it. It's like a
Yeah.
completely misaligned shot. I mean, it's funny, like the opening where you actually meet Martin Lawrence and Will Smith and they're just arguing in the car about nothing and then their car gets jacked. It's like this micro 3 minutes of everything that's wrong about Michael Bay because the editing is so frantic, you lose track of where everyone is within like 30 seconds. There's no line, you know? That's to get like super filmic on someone all of a sudden.
Yeah.
But the 180-degree rule, it doesn't exist in the land of
No.
Michael Bay. It just the camera goes wherever the f- it wants. I'm like censoring myself. What the fuck am I doing? It's my show. And the camera goes whatever the fuck it wants. and characters are arguing and speaking over each other, and then just randomly, because we've run out of 5 minutes, the scene resolves, and then you move on. There's no consequences.
No.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Did they even
What
arrest
it
him?
was
Like, genuinely?
I
probably.
assume.
You would have liked
they
to have
wouldn't
thought
be able
so.
to put them in the car because there's only 2 seats.
Literally? So, like, did they just
And no
stuff
cup
them in their
holders.
own car and, like, do a Batman and be like, oh, yeah, just pick these up. They're on the side of the road. You're welcome.
They've
And
tied
drive off.
them to the roof of the Porsche.
Left a note. Friendly neighborhood Will Smith. Just like, oh, it's weird, isn't it? Like, it's a really weird... Because those characters don't come back again, do they? Like,
No.
They're just... It's like, oh, here's the characters, the cops, they're, like, arguing with each other, start the movie. It just... I don't know. Yeah.
So, that's something else I completely forgot about while we're still on the topic of this scene. Well, so those carjackers, their plan was we'll follow a nice car,
Yeah.
wait for it to pull over, have our very good mate, who is an attractive female, walk across the car to grab their attention so that they're not looking, and then we'll try and point guns at them.
Yeah.
Now, this film has some very quotable lines, as I mentioned. This one, which I think skipped most people's minds, just as she's getting out of the car, they're all like, oh, go on, go do your thing. He says, titty, titty, strutty, strutty.
Wow. I missed that completely.
I'm going to start using that more in my day-to-day sentences.
Do it.
No, you will not. When someone walks into work.
Oh, man, imagine.
Oh, dear.
Sangreet.
I think that more or less...
Jesus.
I welcome you, alright? Titty, strutty, strutty.
Oh, no.
My god.
Please.
But I think if that definitely sets, like, the tone. I'm not sure if it's just these guys are dickheads, that's how they're going to treat someone. I think that's just generally the time. It just...
Well, the mid-90s.
It doesn't feel like it was that long ago.
I suppose,
but
yeah, I suppose. It is Miami as well, isn't it? So, I don't know. Yeah.
And the thing is originally, I thought, like, when I was watching, I was like, hang on, but did he just say what I thought he did? Paused it, went back, put subtitles on, and to see the subtitles come up and say that, I was like, oh, no way.
Oh dear.
What?
Oh, man.
But, yeah, I just thought that was something worth exploring briefly.
How do you greenlight a project when that's one of the first spoken words in your whole script?
Well,
how was he allowed to do other films?
Michael Bay even admitted that the script was shite. Total
he hated
garbage.
it, didn't he? Yeah.
He did not like the script. Like, he heavily encouraged like the actors to improvise. Some of like the best, some of the other quotes that we'll get to are also like just happen to be lines that were improvised.
Yeah.
So yeah, the French guy shot the other guy, rolls out the van, calls in a phony 911 call. Really convincingly, he's got some real distress in his voice when he's telling the operator, this policeman's just been shot.
It's awful.
Please help.
It's horrible. I can't believe what I'm seeing. That's the
no.
exact.
That's a shame. You're gonna want to send someone down to come deal with this, because, mate, it's a...
what a mess.
Travesty. You're gonna have to... Paperwork you're gonna have to do. Someone's gonna have to mop that shit up, Get the fucking road sweepers on
Just
it.
send everyone. Send the entire station.
Yeah.
Just make sure that make sure there's no one left inside. Just send everyone.
But yeah, so he's been shot, and then they rock up to the police station, precinct, whatever you want to call it. They go there.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't know how they did this. Did they land on the roof in a helicopter, or was the shots of the helicopters flying around the actual police?
I think that was the actual police.
Because all of a sudden they're on the roof, because the big sign says, in case you didn't know, you're not supposed to be here.
Yeah.
Police station. In case you hadn't twigged that they're the bad guys. One of them's French, for crying out loud. Come on.
Yeah.
So they're on the roof and they start breaking in, using all these tools, night vision and stuff. All this probably not all that necessary if you've got the plans to the vents and everything. But they go ahead. They do what they do. They nick all the drugs. But this heist was so 90s. Like,
yeah, I was thinking that when I was watching it.
It was what I've got written down here. It was, you had some hacking for some reason.
Yeah.
They were hacking the cameras, despite the fact that they either killed or sedated farty taco falling asleep security guard.
Yeah, he said those tacos were going to kill him, but actually a
I
man killed him.
It wasn't the tacos.
Irony.
You see, maybe tacos are a metaphor for... I know, some bullshit.
Maybe the man who killed him was called Taco. El Taco.
El Taco. Mate, this is actually quite a diverse crime squad, isn't it? Look at that guard. Fucking hell. But anyway, yeah, so they've got your hacking, they syringed him. I'm sure they used a syringe. They didn't just kill him,
Yeah, it looks like a syringe.
Yeah, it was extra big as well, just so you could see what it was. It wasn't.
Exactly.
It was whole hand. He was straight in his neck, straight through. It was it's missed. Oh man! Damn tacos!
Shit.
Just
fucking Officer Taco. Yeah. So as well as hacking, you've got an obscure way of breaking a lock. You're not going to try and pick a padlock. Also, it's why are they having to hack and use buzzsaws and everything to get in if there's just a padlock protecting it.
Yeah.
We'll freeze it, and then we'll smash it with a hammer.
That padlock as well, they try and super zoom in on it to make it seem really important. And again, Michael Bay misses the padlock and he shoots the chain.
Just...
Oh,
yeah,
man.
I love it. Yeah. And then, rather than just carting the drugs out, there's obviously a time limit to get these drugs out for some reason.
Yeah.
So they used some hydraulic air shaft cart.
Yeah. Do you know, it was like the fish tube.
Fish tube, yeah.
So, I don't know what that was all about. And then the vent happened to just drop into their van. I don't know.
I know,
but
yeah.
They must have
like,
been planning it for months, because that was a slick heist.
Yeah.
Like, incredible. You can see why the film wasn't about the planning of the heist, because nothing went wrong. Flawless.
Yeah, literally.
But yeah, they drive off with the drugs, they're all happy, and they're going to go sell them to some big business bloke later on. But before they get a chance to do that, one of them, who is an ex-cop, he was a dirty cop, he decides he's going to have a little party by himself. For some reason.
Sounds like my kind of a party.
Yeah. So he's cracked into one of these keys. I don't fucking know. And he's doing all the drug things, you know, rubbing it on his gums, snorting it, sprinkling
doing
it on.
Yeah, everyday
whatever.
drug shit.
Yeah, all that good drug things.
They even dress him like a proper, like, coked up thing as well. He's
Yeah, they
he's got
do.
the extra long blazer with the rolled up sleeves and his big collar with the massive. And he's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do it.
Man, drugs, man.
Yeah, I'm honestly surprised. Did he do it off a knife? Because that, if he didn't, that's the one thing that was missing. He's just been like, that's, you know, if he didn't do it, then, you know, that's what they were missing from it. The only thing.
This film isn't known for having a good plot, but it's only just occurred to me, if they were gonna sell all the drugs later, they were looking for newly rich people. As soon as, like, Will Smith and Martin Lawrence discover all the drugs are gone, they're like, all right, someone must be newly rich. We'll track them down. But I thought they were gonna wait to sell them.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Either way, one of the crime guys must have had some inheritance or something, because he just became rich by coincidence, and he's having a party and invites what he thinks are 2 escorts. Well, I'm gonna be honest. They might not be. They could just be party people doing party things. Maybe maybe one of them's a DJ. I don't know. But one of them is called Max and is Will Smith's ex, apparently, or good mate. And so she's gonna tip Will Smith off if anything suspicious happens. Doesn't get a chance to do that though, because she gets shot through a cushion.
See,
it's so conspicuous, right? I'm gonna shoot you, but I'm gonna hold my gun behind a cushion.
Hold a cushion up front, and it's fine.
That way, you're not.
See, my issue with that scene is though he puts the pillow. He's like, oh, I'm gonna do this. He's obviously trying to like suppress the sound, but then 2 seconds later he shoots the other guy without the pillow. He just straight up like, I'm gonna bang my, it's fine, no one's gonna hear that, bang, I'm gonna kill this other guy instead.
Yeah.
And then later in the scene, they just shoot up the whole room, and then they run out and shoot on the, like...
Do some more shooting, yeah. Also,
literally, like, what
additionally,
was the point?
I was gonna call you out, Jacob, for skipping quite a lot of the movie, but since this is this movie, I'm quite happy that you've done it.
I was gonna say, if something is skipped, there's good reason. Also, why are you complaining?
The one thing you did skip that I will say was a bad thing was Martin Lawrence has a dog. Michael Bay likes dogs. Dogs are good. That's his one point of quality from me. He likes dogs. I like dogs. Dogs are good.
Dogs are good. Yeah. Yeah, fair enough. I'm glad you brought that up. That was...
that added so much to it.
Jesus Christ, yeah. Although... most of this, I'm just following the basic plot of, the drugs, what happened to the drugs? Which is what you'd expect, but there's trying to be some subplots going on.
Which weird,
Martin
because
Lawrence.
the bad boys don't do a lot of detecting.
Oh, I know.
They do a lot of mulling and going to places where there happens to be dead bodies, but there doesn't really happen to be any, like, detecting. I particularly like the one where they end up in a place with the dead body and Martin Lawrence is like really uncomfortable around the dead body and you think that's going to be set up for later, but then in the scene you just talked about, he's like 5 minutes away from killing a dude and he's fine, you know?
Yeah.
See, my issue for that scene is as well, they're what they're like detectives. They're like, there's a dead body. Let's just feel everything. Let's just pick up the arm with the knife.
fuck up the crime
Like fingerprints. You know, he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna phone homicide." That's what you're meant to do. That's your job.
Yeah.
Do that.
Will Smith's like, whoa, don't be calling in no homicide. We got stuff to touch.
I know, yeah. Gotta put my fingerprints on it. You know what I mean? Like, it's bad.
Yeah, not the most accurate representation
No.
of. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it is, but it's unlikely. Yeah, that scene where they do find that first dead body. I honestly, I'm not sure if I want to admit it. I did have a little bit of a chuckle as
There
they
is
were entering the
a
house.
really funny joke on the way in. Yeah.
I did enjoy that.
Yeah.
Not sure. Again, it's probably a quite quotable line. Not sure if I
we
can
should quote it, yeah.
But
Go on,
if
you've
you've
got a
seen
free
the
pass.
film,
Go on.
I'm not going to
I've been given the free pass from the most qualified person to give you the pass.
Yeah,
for that
thanks,
sort of
Amelia,
line.
brilliant.
Yeah, but it's a quote. It's fine.
If you've seen the movie, you know what quote I'm talking
Was
about.
that-
It's just before Martin Lawrence comes along with. They were asked, "Can we borrow your brown sugar?" Just before that, so in case you're unsure, there's a bit of context for you.
Was that
Yeah.
one of the improvised lines? Because that came off quite natural.
It did. It wasn't one that was used as an example.
Okay.
Like it wasn't. It's not the go-to example whenever they're saying improvised lines, but it was quite a good little joke there.
Yeah.
Did have a bit of a giggle. But yeah, so after this, the Max lady gets shot. We've got was it Julie or Julia?
Julie.
Julie.
Yeah.
She's Tia Leone, right?
Tia Leone, yeah.
Yes.
That's
yeah.
the one. She's been in other great films. First one that comes to mind is Jurassic Park 3.
Oh yeah, I always forget she's in that.
She's in that with the talking
Mad.
Velociraptor.
Oh,
Yeah.
mad. Jesus.
There's some shit out there,
I
isn't there?
forgot about that scene as well.
Oh man.
Oh no, I remember that scene. Oh my god, that scared
That's
me as a
supposed
child
to be a
as well.
jump scare as well, the way that scene's edited. But it's just
Hey, when I
hilarious.
first watched that, I was like, what, 4 or 5? I crap myself. I was like, wait. I was like, scared to turn around in case there was a talking. I was like, oh no,
Maybe.
bad.
Oh, but yeah. So she's in there, and she's just seen her mate get shot.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, basically, what's she gonna do? What are you
What's
gonna
she
do?
gonna do?
What are you gonna do?
Oh no.
And she's so scarred and scared by the experience that she listens to her mate's potentially one of the last things she said. Oh, if ever I get in trouble, which I definitely won't at this party, but if ever something was to happen to me, call Mike Lowry. Yeah. I mean, just in case it wasn't obvious enough that
Something bad was about
something
to
bad
happen.
was going to happen.
Yeah.
So
I
sad.
mean, come on. Yeah. So she does that, and she refuses to talk to any other cop other than Mike Lowry. So I don't think she knows if Mike Lowry's a black or a white guy. But when the first person who answers the phone is the captain, and he immediately says, "Oh, yeah, here he is," passes it off to Martin Lawrence, which is one of the plot points in this film that probably isn't all that necessary. It makes
No.
it a little bit more complicated, and you end up with some rather amusing.
I hate this subplot.
It's not great. It's
I
just
was
like just
desperate
explain
for
just
it to
tell
end
them.
the
Yeah.
whole way through. And the I think the worst part for me is that it lasts from that point until nearly the end of the movie. Like the reveal comes about 20 minutes before the end of the movie, and it goes out with such a whimper. Julie just goes,
Yeah.
"Oh, was I lied to?" And Martin Lawrence's wife goes, "Yeah," and she goes, "Yeah, I thought so." That's it.
See,
Yeah.
I honestly think that subplot, that thing where the swapping where he's Mike Lowry, I think that's something they used to pitch the film. I can imagine them in the room
I think you're right.
being like, it's a film about buddy cops and one has to pretend to be the other and they realise that they like each other's lives more than their own or whatever. And it's just kind of been dumbed down to this kind of little thing because you get the hint that Will Smith is kind of liking Martin Lawrence's life as well.
Yeah.
And then obviously Martin Lawrence, because they start dressing like each other as well.
Yeah.
So but once it's over, that's it. There's no mention of it again. It's just like, that's it. We're just gonna go back to what we used to be, and it's so. I just have a feeling that was one of the main selling points when they were trying to pitch the film.
Quite
and
possibly.
it just became something completely different. Yeah.
I've got every time it's really clear that we're going to get into a moment where it's going to be awkward that he's pretending to be Mike Lowry. I've just got the words hijinks ensue in all caps, and I imagine the treatment of the film had exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I mean, some of Martin Lawrence's explanations for stuff, I believe, were improvised. So eventually when... I'm just going to jump around because... Following the plot.
Michael Bay does. He jumps around all the time with his cutting, and it's so...
Exactly.
I think it's fine. It's in spirit.
Gonna do a Michael Bay here, keeping it true. Wouldn't
I'll
wanna,
put an orange overtone over this entire fucking podcast.
Do it.
Oh, please don't.
Yes.
Make sure you cut it halfway through to blue one though.
I was going to say,
it's a cop film, so...
change, you know.
Yeah. It's a cop film in it, so it needs to be blue.
Exactly. But Martin Lawrence eventually gets Julie over to the apartment, well, Will Smith's apartment, and why he didn't think of, okay, so this isn't obviously not going to be my apartment. I need to come up with some reason as to why I don't know where things are, other than just thinking up on the fly. But no, I've got to find the light switch, which I know where it is, because this is my house.
I'm always moving my light switches.
I do live here. I'm moving them about. So I think some of the things Martin Lawrence was like saying on the fly were funny, but then again, as a character, you would have thought of something. You're supposed to be a detective.
Do you know what
You're supposed to have a bit of smarts.
In this scene, I got a sense that I did get a sense that it was improvised, but I also got the sense that the scene was. I mean, it makes sense to do this. Was more than likely cut together of like 3 or 4 different takes. Where he just happened to be improvising the same lines over and over again, you know. So the joke got like super repetitive. Oh, he's tripped over. Why? Because he can't find the lights. Then he stands up and he goes, "Oh, I'm always moving my stuff. I can't find my lights." Then she turns the light on. He goes, "Oh man, you found my light. I should have been able to find my light because these are my lights." Like that's how the scene goes. And it probably had different dialogue in all 4 different takes, but in the end, they just mashed those bits together. That's what it feels like, anyway.
Yeah,
I can see that.
Imagine that.
I mean, as someone who does post-production, Amelia, how are you finding this movie so far? Like this.
I mean, I'm not a massive fan of Michael Bay to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
Is anyone though? Like, genuinely?
No, you're not wrong. I don't know. I just feel like sometimes people can be sloppy with editing, and like you can use editing to really make a point, and a lot of the time it's just a bit. I don't know. It just doesn't have a lot of punch to it. It's just editing's there to just be there.
There's no motivation in either the edits or the camera movements ever. The scene where Max gets shot is the fucking absolute worst because the camera is constantly panning and tracking and spinning and zooming every single time it gets cut, and there's no reason for it to be moving like that. None of the power dynamics in the scene are changing. It's just doing it to be moving. Because if it wasn't moving, I don't know, maybe they'd lose like attention because nothing's fucking happening in the scene.
Yeah. What are you gonna do?
What you gonna do? Come for you?
Is that gonna be like a reoccurring thing in this episode? Like genuinely.
I mean, I hope so.
The thing is,
why not?
Fair enough. I'm down with it.
It's gotta be because when I was watching it, in order to give myself a little bit of laugh, any time that Will Smith and Martin Lawrence were doing something, I wrote in my notes, the bad boys do this, the bad boys go here. I like referred to them as that group all the time. I was having to make my own jokes in this action comedy movie in order to feel like I can get through it.
Oh dear.
So yeah, we've got to. We've got to.
Yeah, it's fair enough. Let's do it then. Officially from this point on.
I mean,
anytime anyone says it.
Yeah, it's gonna happen. So yeah, jumping around a bit still, but the key is Julie doesn't know that Will Smith is actually Mike Lowry, so Martin Lawrence has got to do all his shitty impressions of Will Smith being Mike Lowry.
Mike Lowry.
Oh man.
Just what? Yeah, the only reason they're at Will Smith's apartment is because Julie's was compromised. The crime guys came over like, oh shit, someone's seen us murder. We've got to kill her now too. But one of the guys who goes after them, I don't think he's ever used a gun properly before. Every time he has that handgun or someone else's gun in a fight, it just doesn't work. It just doesn't. He shoots off sometimes for the first man. He goes, oh, damn. And I think that's just so that they can't come up with a more creative beat for the characters to get the drop on them. It's shit, now what?
Yeah.
Every time. Like, it happens when he's outside, they're driving away, he's pointing his gun, can't shoot him now. It's not that he dodged behind something, or threw something, or did something interesting, it's just, shit. And that happens later on as well, when they're, when was it? Honestly, I think this just goes to show the quality of this. The fact
That's how memorable this film
even
is.
Pick out.
I only watched it like 2 days ago and I couldn't tell you half the stuff that happens in it.
I was rewatching it for notes this morning, and I've got no clue.
Yeah, there's just certain bits. Like when you said before about you were skipping like a bit at the beginning, I honestly completely forgot about that scene with the dead body.
Yeah, it just
straight in my mind.
It's not the most memorable.
Like
before we do forget it, Julie has 2 dogs. Dogs are good.
Dogs are good.
Dogs are good.
Agreed.
Dogs are good. I'm honestly looking at the plot on Wikipedia now. I'm trying to remember what happens when and everything. Oh no! Right,
Let me see if I can help you out. Let me see if I can help you
This is a show
out.
of how bad it is, not us.
Yeah,
It's
genuinely.
not us.
It's not us. It's the film.
Let's have a
If it was a
look.
good film, we would remember it like bad.
Yeah. Where are we at? So we've done that.
Oh.
To the station. Go on.
Here we are. I'll get us back on track because we're actually about to make the changeover when Will Smith goes to live with Martin Lawrence's wife, and Martin Lawrence goes to live in Will Smith's apartment. And that scene starts at 51 minutes in, and I want to read verbatim a quote from my girlfriend who was watching it with me on the first time round, who paused the movie at this exact point, 51 minutes in, and said, "I'm sorry, if I have to watch one more minute of this, I might kill myself."
Oh no.
Well.
So so they switch places, and Julie notices the shrine of Will Smith. That's about where we are.
Yeah, that's right. It's like, it's just, he's my partner, and I put up a photo every time he saved my life. Why don't you say, that's like a cousin? Actually, no.
Well,
You could do that. I mean, admittedly, she meets him later on, but you could have come up with something better than, it's just a cop thing, you know?
God.
I mean, it's there to simply make a joke, their gay joke, and the joke is that gay people exist.
That was an improvised line. I remember reading
Was
this.
it?
Yes. So I think Michael Bay told her to say that to Martin Lawrence, but his response entirely improvised.
My God.
There you go.
Whoa, is he secretly homophobic, and this is why he doesn't ever have 2 guys that like each other in any sort of friendly manner? Whoa!
What?
So defensive over it.
I might as well say it now. I was going to save it for later, but it doesn't really matter. There was a on the DVD commentary. I didn't buy the DVD, and I didn't listen to the commentary track. I just read that this is what happens on a commentary from Michael Bay. Right at the end, Will Smith finally says, "I love you," back to Martin Lawrence. He finally does it. But it makes it seem like Will Smith's character is reluctant to do it. Nah, I'm not. Don't really get tied down or attached to stuff. Nah, what are we talking about? But Michael Bay couldn't get Will Smith to say that line for ages. While they were shooting it, Will Smith refused to say, "I love you" to Martin Lawrence. He just wasn't going to do it. So they were arguing back and forth constantly about whether they were going to do it or not. And they had about 15 minutes left on set before everything was just packed in, and Michael Bay was like, "Right, fine, fuck it, don't say I love you, just do something else." And they go to do the scene, they go to do the take, and then Will Smith, he actually just says it anyway.
Well, I think their reaction, because I read that as well, but I read that like because admittedly I got halfway through the film and I was like, oh my god. So I went on my phone and started looking at facts because I couldn't give all my attention to it.
That's fair.
I read that bit before that scene, so when that scene came up, I think you can proper see like the reaction, like Martin Lawrence's reaction is a real reaction. It's not him being like, oh, he said it, like him in real life. They're all like, holy shit, they've been arguing all day and he's actually said it. Cuts away really quickly as well after Martin Lawrence's reaction to something else. So I think that was his actual reaction.
Do you think that's why Will Smith did it? Just to be a dick.
Maybe.
Because that's what he says. He says it. He's like, yeah, I said it. And then they're all like, oh! I think that's the actual reaction from them because they've been arguing all day. But you just imagine Michael Bay being just being done with it. They're arguing. He's like, fine, fuck it. Do whatever the hell you want. I'm not even asked anymore. Let's just finish this goddamn film because I'm fucking sick of it. Yeah. I can just imagine that at the end, and then him saying it, and they're all Michael Bay just being like, you just being irritated at
Bastard.
it. This guy.
But yeah, that's a fun little more improvising in. Ooh, don't talk about when a man likes a man. That's a raunchy topic. Like 95, it's like, was that really? But different
Ross
time.
And Friends, it's around the same time, isn't it? I suppose.
Yeah. So that happens because he's like, oh, you could be gay with Will Smith. That wouldn't be a travesty, would it? But anyway, carry on. They go and look at some mugshots at the just in the apartment.
And she reveals that she's vegan, and the joke there is that vegan people exist.
Vegans. But there you go. That's a funny little. Even back then, they were saying they were vegan. Damn vegans. You're all right. You do whatever you want. Cool. Yeah, she picks one out. She's like, oh, I know that one. That's one I know. And like, oh, this geezer. Oh, he hangs out here. Let's go there. So that's when they go to Club Hell. And this whole bit, it was like, oh,
titty.
Serious. So she's supposed to stay behind because they're trying to kill you. You're a witness. Don't endanger yourself. Please, don't.
Yeah.
You won't go to the police because you don't want to endanger yourself. You won't talk to anyone but Mike Larry because you don't want to endanger yourself. But you'll come out here all of a sudden. Boys, you said we were going to go clubbing.
Right.
Let's get lit.
Let's do it. Woo, woo.
So that they go to this club. Will Smith, Martin Lawrence go in the hope that they'd see him and then just arrest him, I guess. But before they get a chance to do that, Martin Lawrence is gone for a piss, and he gets a bag on his head.
Yeah.
And then
Saturday night.
I mean, where are you going? Where are you going on Saturday?
What are you doing? You're Saturday night.
While Martin Lawrence has got a bag on his head, though, Will Smith's into feet. There's something going on in this movie.
He's all about that, isn't he?
Will Smith's a foot man.
On the job. But there was, during this toilet fight, Martin Lawrence gets pushed up against a fish tank and it breaks the glass completely. I know the shot was sort of in slow motion, but he was not thrown at that fish tank, and it just breaks. I've watched a video about how they use this shatter glass, where whoever's doing it has to shatter it just before whatever's going to hit it hits it, so that whatever it is goes through. You can see, even in this slightly slowed down clip, that it clearly breaks way before he's anywhere near that pane of glass. And it's just like, oh man, what? And it takes all of that for Will Smith to then realise, oh shit, man, probably shouldn't be staring at feet. What I did like, how they had very much Romeo and Juliet style, a fish tank that unlooked into the toilets.
Yeah, I was wondering that. Like, he's in the bathroom. Like, why? You don't want to just be looking at fishes and just seeing like a bunch of guys taking a piss, do you? I found that was really weird.
Some
like, why is it there?
What is that?
Yeah, it's like, oh, well, okay. Like, I don't know. I thought it was really weird that it was like, even if it was just outside of the bathroom, but it wasn't. Wasn't it actually in the
Yeah, it
bathroom?
was in the bathroom. Yeah.
Yeah. Hundreds of people just kind of like.
So weird, literally. Like, I couldn't go to the bathroom if I'm honest. Like, all those people just.
Rotty ass bathroom as well. Considering how fancy this club's supposed to be.
Yeah.
That urinal was still a fucking piss in it.
Literally. It was.
Well, men's bathrooms.
Oh, that was. I know which bit you mean. Actually, that bit was whelming.
He was hitting his head onto the urinal. I think that just goes to show, you know, whenever there's a fight in like a kids' film, they'll always have, or kind of like Back to the Future, right? He defeats them by putting poo on them.
Yeah.
Shit, poo. You got covered in poo. It's just like that, but a urinal full of piss.
Oh.
It's just funny because it's supposed to be gross. Actually, it is kind of gross, I'll be honest. But
I watched it and I was like, oh no, like just imagine it. Oh, it's minging.
yeah, no. So
Cringe.
that's supposed to be funny. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, clearly very funny.
But by this point, they've been made, right? The bad guys are coming for them. But before they get a chance to
The bad guys are
retaliate-
coming for the bad boys.
Oh,
Hey.
what you gonna do?
What you gonna do?
But before they get a chance to properly retaliate, Julie's there with a gun.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, I have never... Well, she might be a very good marksman, but that is a long shot, and she's got that pistol, and she's just gonna fucking pop off a gun in the middle of a nightclub.
It's weird as well because she takes aim. She looks like she's got a pretty good shot. And then just before she fires, she lowers it by about 30 degrees and then shoots.
Yeah.
I mean, so she's trashed the whole plan a little bit, even though it would have been a bit of a scrap anyway. And so they fuck off, they run away. But rather than hop back in whatever car they came in, which probably, even if it is a 4-seater, that's gonna be nippy.
Yeah.
Right, even if it's not his limited edition Porsche, at least your standard car is going to be able to reach some speeds. But no,
Oh yeah.
we won't take any one of these cars just kind of sitting around here. Let's take that big ice cream truck looking thing over there. I don't understand that. Also, that bad guy, evil, totally not suspicious looking van
Yeah.
of explosive barrels. Why is it there? What?
Does
Yeah,
it
what was the
explain
plan?
what they need it for?
Yeah,
Why
it does.
Why is that?
So
Is
it says that they're going to use it to like cook the heroin faster.
The
Right.
cutting. I'm not sure what cutting heroin
I
involves.
missed that completely. I thought that it was just something to do with the club, and he's just like, oh, park it outside, and it's like, he's like lighting the cigarette, and he's like, oh, do you know what's in there? And I'm like, what's happening? Who are these people? I missed it. I just missed it. It just slipped away completely. I had absolutely no idea like what was going on at all.
But yeah, they end up driving like a bomb, basically.
Yeah.
Car chase.
Oh,
the
shit.
bad guys start chasing them in what looks like Bumblebee.
It might have been.
Like
You
it,
know.
does, it looks
Yeah.
like the same Camaro from the first
I've
movie.
got a feeling it was a Camaro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they have a bit of a short-lived car chase.
Does that
barrels swinging about, and even though they make like a point of it with, oh, of all the roads in Miami, you managed to run out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's supposed to be a joke. But how? I don't understand how you can explain that. If it's as a detective, as someone who lives in Miami, you should know the roads.
Yeah.
But no, because they made a joke out of it, they're allowed to do something
Yeah.
stupid. But yeah.
There's a line in that scene that really irritated me, and it's as they're driving away, and it's just after she's realised what's in the back. She says something like to them, she's like, "Oh, I thought this was meant to be protective custody or something." She says that to him, and then you're like, "But wait, hold on. He was going to put you in protective custody, and then you said no, and then you made the choice to come out after they told you not to come to the club.
With
You've
a gun.
endangered yourself.
You can't make a comment like that." I
Yeah.
was just kind of like, what? You put yourself in this position, not them. They tried
Yeah.
to prevent it, and it just irritated me, and I was like, ugh, I didn't like
So
it.
that was a bit all of that.
Yeah.
No. And of course, you know it's a Michael Bay film. Even if they hadn't put his name in there, you now immediately know as they start throwing explosive barrels out of a van, shooting them so they blow up, because of course they blow up. But those barrels, they were big barrels,
Yeah.
full of liquid.
Yeah.
Will Smith, just chucking them out like it's nothing, like it's fucking made out of cardboard or some shit.
He looks a lot stronger than me, right? I'll
Yeah.
concede that. He does look a lot stronger than me. But I've worked in a bar and I've tried to lift like an alcohol, like, you know, the cans
kegs.
they've got, the kegs,
Yeah.
that they got in the back to pump it all into the taps. They're fucking well heavy, man.
They're heavy.
I can
Even empty, they're heavy.
I can drag them. I can't lift them.
And he's just there tossing them around like, yeah.
This bitch empty.
Yeah.
So that's a bit. But whatever. It's Michael Bay. We continue. So they've been to the club. They've done the necessary Michael Bay explosions. They got caught by the news. Honestly, they should have just left out Martin Lawrence lying to his wife.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She knows he's a detective. She knows he's going to have to do some undercover detecting stuff.
Yeah.
But no, he's going to lie to her about what he's doing.
He's
There's
lying
so
the
many
whole time.
opportunities.
He lies to
Yeah.
her the whole movie. I don't think that's
Yeah.
a good, stable marriage. If anything, she'd get out of it, Martin.
What are you doing, mate? You're not.
There's
you're
not
not
enough trust
getting
in the relationship.
No sex either. Come on,
Like,
that's
There's
why he
so
wants to
many-
eat that thing at the
literally,
start.
There's so many opportunities for him to tell her what's going on as well. Like, she makes him sleep on the couch because she's at the beginning bit, because like she thought he called her, like she told him to screw you or something, and he's like, oh no, it's a police term. Just fucking tell her what you were doing. What
Yeah.
you mean?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, talking to this other guy, wasn't talking to you. But he's like, oh no, it's a police term.
Like, sorry, honey, I'm on a case. I'm like having another call. Like, that's it. That's all it takes.
Yeah.
Literally 2 seconds, but no, just so you can have the joke with him sleeping on the couch.
Yeah.
Not that Power Ranger joke as well. It's just so you can say that. I woke up with a Power Ranger up my ass or whatever. it's just so you can have that. Just fucking tell her what was going on. You're you're literally a police officer. Like, you know.
The whole it doesn't make like much sense for him not to just do
Literally,
it.
you can
But
just tell her.
again, the line and the delivery of I woke up with a Power Ranger stuck up my ass may have giggled at that one. as well. I'll be honest. But yeah, so they get seen on the news. Nothing comes of that till later when it's needed that the wife ruins the we swap names thing.
Oh yeah.
Then they go and meet up with an old informant called Jojo.
Guy from The Sopranos.
I can only remember that now because it's written right here.
You know, the first time they meet him earlier on in the movie, and nothing happens. It's just a setup that Jojo exists. There's a master shot. It's really wide, and they're stuck between two cars. It's actually quite nice.
Yeah, I thought that.
I will at least give this man some credit where it's due. That one shot was all right.
It was, yeah. Like, I wouldn't have even remembered that film if he wasn't the guy. If he wasn't played, because the guy plays Jojo, he's like a main character in The Sopranos. That's the only reason I remember this scene. I would have completely forgot about it if it wasn't because of him. That's the only reason. It's just, and there's a bit as well where he's like, oh, I was gonna shoot you, and then Martin Lawrence goes around that corner and he's like pretending to be like, oh, don't do it, and then I spent that bit thinking that it was like a tactic that they did.
Yeah.
But it wasn't.
No.
It was him. He was like, oh, are you gonna shoot me? He was like, oh, was. And I was like, oh, okay. So they were actually just being thing. I thought, yeah, it would have been better if it was like something they did normally. Where I don't know, it seemed really.
Yeah, a bit of a bad cop. Like you're not bad at your job if you were genuinely gonna shoot someone.
Yeah, literally. Like,
But
oh, I'm gonna shoot him up.
But yeah. They go to him to find out who's cutting the drugs, and he tells them.
Wait.
That's all there is
Plot
to that.
progression.
So much
The
of what
actual
happens,
reaction we had to the film.
it just happens because
Yeah.
it needs to happen.
Yeah.
Like if I was honestly trying to recall all this off the top of my head, I would just say, oh, and then they did that, and then they did that. Don't know how. Just happened.
It just happened.
Get to the next scene.
The bit where they do say, oh, we're going to this club because the guys are going to be there. Like that, we just didn't see the scene where they found out that the guys were going to be at Club Hell. That just happens off camera. They detected, these detectives detected off camera while we were busy looking at gay jokes or something. Like, do you know what, I used to give a lot of crap to what honestly is just a pretty good show, and that's Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I've come around a long way to liking Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
I don't mind it.
I think it's pretty quality, but I used to give it some cracks. I don't know. I was probably just being grumpy, to be fair. But in that show, they spend a lot of time dicking around, but the detectives, they detect.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
They bare minimum do their job, and these clowns, maybe they do it, but we don't get to see it in this cop movie.
Yeah.
It's a wonder they even managed to bust the drugs in the first place to have them locked away.
Yeah.
How did they manage that? Unless they just went for a fucking drive-through and the van in front, doors just got blown open by a sudden gust of wind, and they go, there's drugs in there.
Like the police partners who hate each other, who argue about everything, who just go on casual drives while complaining to each other about how much they hate each other. They don't do any detecting. Oh,
Crime just comes to them.
I hate Michael Bay. I hate you, Michael Bay.
They must be at least a little good at the job if they were good enough to get as high as being promoted to detectives. Like I can't imagine that's an easy thing. You can't just be a detective. You have to be an actual police officer first.
Yeah,
so
I played out in a while.
Well, yeah, exactly. They must have done something. They must have been good at the jobs at some point to get to where they are right now. Like, I don't know. Do you get any of it though? It's all the in between that they show in the film, and it's just gun fights and arguing and gay jokes, literally. But,
yeah. So they've. Wait, what did they just do?
They just found out this fucking movie.
They just found out
where the drugs are. Yeah.
Okay. Before they get a chance to do anything, they head back to the undefended. Totally, it isn't like witness protection or anything. Just his house, just his apartment. They go back there, and shit, it's a bit awkward. Got to try and explain this one because Martin Lawrence's wife rocks up, and she's like, yeah, I'm gonna blow this case wide open.
Hijinks ensue.
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure the only reason they had to have her do that was so that she was then slightly in danger.
Yeah.
When all the bad guys came along. But if you're that worried that someone's onto you and you're trying to like hide the fact that you're doing illegal drugs and things, why would you go and shoot up an apartment block?
Yeah, and
it's very.
A policeman's apartment as well. Yeah.
Because the
like
plot,
a policeman's apartment as well.
It sort of frames it as if it's the bad boys' fault because they're the ones causing all the destruction. But they are not the guys to shoot first ever. They only started throwing explosive barrels at Bumblebee because there was a dude in Bumblebee with a shotgun. Like, you know, like it's all responses. But the plot keeps framing it as, like the police are like, my God, it's a media shit show. Goddamn you bad boys, always making my department look bad. Like,
what you gonna do?
What you gonna do? Come
Oh, you.
But yeah, so they get shut up, and rather than the bad guys getting Julie, the one witness to all their crimes, and just going, now we're in the clear. They kidnapped her.
What? Yeah. Why?
Yeah.
They've been trying to kill her the whole movie.
And now they just take her. Like, that was a bit frustrating.
You know, like just realised.
And then they get her back at some point. and then they win. No, I'm not going to end it there because there's more that happens. There's more things.
Are you sure though?
Maybe.
I mean, to be fair, the last, because we're moments away from getting into the big last action scene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like they take her to an airstrip. They're about to make the deal, and that big last action scene, it's all right. It's passable. It's quite good fun. Things are in frame when they're happening. There's a couple of creative kills. Will Smith shotguns a guy into an electric box at one point. That's quite fun.
Yeah.
That old classic. Oh, if someone throws you into that electric box rather than just stumbling and tripping, you're dead. You're going to get electrocuted absolutely 100%. None of these green boxes with lights and switches are ever safe. Don't go near one. You will just get electrocuted conveniently and die. But yeah, creative all the same.
Yeah.
Some of the quips and lines they have just before they murder someone are pretty good as well. So when there's some dude on a plane and all like your 4 cops have rocked up, I'm pretty sure they only end up doing the 4 because it's Will Smith, Martin Lawrence, and the 2 other homicide guys who they don't like at all, but enough that they would risk their lives to help them not be in a media shitstorm.
They make them honorary bad boys.
Yeah. So, yeah. There's some bad guy on a plane, just they're in an airport or something, and Martin Lawrence, rather than shooting the guy in the plane, he shoots some explosive barrels again next to the plane, because why are you doing a drug deal and wire transferring loads of money, and the police will probably be following you because you just kidnapped someone. Why not have loads of explosive, dangerous barrels surrounding everything?
Do these barrels exist in real life? Because I've never seen them ever.
Never been in a position.
Like just explode on impact. Like as soon as they get hit with a bullet, they explode. If you shoot a barrel with a bullet, it will start leaking.
It leaks.
It leaks. It doesn't explode. That's not how.
Can we reshoot the whole of this film with no explosions? Just little leaks.
Normal explosions.
It's the whole movie, but normal physics. So it's Will Smith struggling with those barrels and then giving up.
That would be that'd probably be better.
But the line he has is this guy's getting on the plane ready to take off. Martin Lawrence is there. He says, "You forgot your boarding pass."
Oh no!
Oh, got him. Absolutely.
I love as well.
Killed him more.
I love the guy. The guy that's come to like buy the drugs is the most like stereotypical rich like drug guy in the world. He's dressed in all white. He looks like Doug Dimmadome, owner of the Dimsdale Dimmadome, right? It's incredible.
Brought his like really expensive car with him as well, just on the plane.
He doesn't even. What's he? He says like, I'm gonna add it to my collection or something, but like, it's just like, we just need a car there that's fast, so we can have an end of film chase scene. It's backed.
Yeah. But the guy who's on this plane who gets blown up, the plane explodes. This guy gets fucking yeeted. I wasn't saying launched, but no, he gets yeeted way off that plane. That was incredible. Absolutely shooting star off your fucks. So they end up just blowing up the whole hangar. Don't know how much the explosion was. It was probably like 18.9 million, and they just made the best of it on like that remaining budget, because that was a big fucking explosion.
So I actually read something as well that whole scene, the studio just didn't want to do it or something, and Michael Bay was like, right, fine, I'll just pay for myself, and he put all the money.
I heard this. No, he did. In all fairness, which means we kind of know how much it cost, because the figures quoted, it's not quite that many millions. I think it's like 25 grand.
Something like that.
Michael Bay just forked out of his own wallet to be like, nah, we're gonna finish it like this. I'll pay for it.
Oh my god.
Crazy.
Do you know what?
Imagine spending your own money on this movie.
He's dedicated. He's a dedicated filmmaker.
He's a crackhead.
I'll again, credit where it is due. If he had not have done that, this movie would have had nothing. because it is just, up until that point, an hour and 40 of people talking about nothing, arguing in circles, and it is boring.
Yeah. Oh, it is.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so you get this big-ass explosion. They all... Well, enough of the good guys survive who need to survive, but only the one bad guy makes it. And his getaway is that conveniently placed American... Is it a muscle car? No.
It looks like a muscle car, yeah.
I think it's an AC Cobra or something. They're supposed to be pretty quick too. And he starts fucking off down the runway in that. So naturally, he's going to get chased in the limited edition Porsche because it can do 0 to 60 in 4 seconds. How is that like the only thing I've remembered from this film?
There may actually be a good reason for that. It's because Michael Bay started out his career making advertisements and music videos. And that bit at the start genuinely felt like an advert for that car.
Yeah.
That's probably why you remember it.
Oh, wow.
So there you go. So, the end. This final bit is very much... If you were to describe this final scene, you wouldn't guess, oh, no, that's probably from a buddy cop movie. You'd definitely say, probably Fast and Furious.
Yeah.
You've got 2 cars drag racing down a runway to win, to finish the movie.
There's a big caution wall.
Yes.
Is that something? Have I missed that? Is that something that airports have? Big caution walls with a gap
so
just
the
big
planes
enough
just
to get a car through.
Who knows?
I mean, I feel like they do, but that one seemed to be like right in the middle of the runway. So
kind of inconvenient.
On the very end, yeah, literally, like it's a point like right. If your plane's not took off by this point, you're not taking off. It's just gonna hit this wall.
You're done.
That's
what it's
flying today.
Like,
but yeah, rather than evil Frenchman turning off and going a different way, let's just go straight. If we get through this gap, then we can. Then what's he gonna do? He's in an airport with fences around it, and more police are probably already at the airport. Anyway, that's what they're doing. They're trying to fit through this little gap. And rewatching this, I was convinced this was going to happen, and it didn't. He crashes his car. He gets beaten by Martin Lawrence in the Porsche, and the car doesn't explode.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
that is one of the most disappointing things in this whole film. Because
if he was any other character, if he was anyone but the main bad guy, it would have exploded.
It would have exploded.
Yeah, literally.
But it didn't. That caught me off guard.
Yeah.
I mean, as you were saying earlier, Joe, you were like on your phone just because it wasn't super gripping.
Yeah.
Seeing a car crash into a wall in a Michael Bay movie and it not explode, I was like, I'm back on board now. You've got my attention. Here we go. Okay. But the only reason that happens is so that they can have one last conversation. Spoilers. It's the last conversation for the Frenchman anyway. The other guys can keep on talking if they want to. This French guy, I feel like they had an opportunity to do something with Will Smith's character here, because you've seen ever so slightly that he was gonna kill that JoJo guy, but it's not like he didn't seem super angry throughout the whole film. Yeah. He was pissed off that Max, his mate, died at the start, but it didn't seem like he was like he could kill a guy at any moment. Mm-mm. So when all of a sudden he's doing it again to this French guy, who, he's a bad bloke, and he murdered your mate. But where's this like sudden anger coming from? And of course we've got the classic trope of the bad guy trying to urge the good guy on to kill him. Just why not? Yeah. Sure. All bad guys are crazy, really, and just want to be shot because then they win, but they're dead. But yeah. So he's doing all that. No, go on, shoot me. But Will Smith should be a good enough cop to go, nah. But they had the potential to like play with the anger that's in him, but they don't.
Yeah.
which was a shame. I reckon you could almost re-edit the film and make it. If you had all the footage, you could make a much better film if you were to emphasize some things, but cut out the less important things.
Yeah, there's weird things that they leave in. So when Max dies and the cops get there, they have Martin Lawrence find her body and then cover her up, and then Will Smith take the cover off and discover it. You just cut Martin Lawrence and go straight for the character that Max has actually interacted with. Yeah. You cut in a couple of seconds and you're getting straight to the actual emotional core.
Yeah. I actually, when he did that, when you saw Martin Lawrence lift it up and then be like, oh, and then lift it down, I thought this was going to be a plot or something where it's going to be like Will Smith wasn't going to know that it was her, and then he was going to find out later on. He lifts it up straight, and I'm like, oh, okay, guess not. What was just it looked like it was going to lead to it being like Will finding out later on or something, and then that being like what he was going to be angry about. But no, it just kind of, it's a really weird bit. I thought it was really weird when I was watching it. It just kind of.
I want to know who edited this. I'm trying to find it because like.
And find out what else they've edited as well. I mean, I probably should have looked it up, but I mean.
So the thing, I think one of the big problems is that Michael Bay famously shoots for the edit always.
Yeah.
But I think particularly in this inaugural film, it's left the editor in a state where they've got too much to work with. There's too much freedom. Like, he's covered too much ground. And suddenly you're leaving extra shots in there that you could cut. You're getting extra coverage that isn't needed. You're completely losing like the audience's sense of like perspective and momentum because you've got so much footage to work with. That, ladies and gentlemen, is why we storyboard.
Yes.
Yes.
Literally.
I found the editor. It's a guy called Christian Wagner. I'm guessing that's how you say it. But he did True Romance, Man on Fire, Fast and Furious 7, Fate of the Furious, Fast and Furious 7. Again? Why is it listed twice? Oh, it's listed twice. Fast and Furious 6.
He's just really proud of that one.
5. The first Fast... I think he's done all the Fast and Furiouses. He did Total Recall, the new Men in Black that's coming out.
Oh, Jesus.
Did I say Face Off? I can't remember if I haven't said Face Off.
He's not a great track record there.
Now that you've listed all of those films, I can see it in this film, especially the chases, the Fast and Furious. Like, I've not watched all those films. I've seen like 1.5 maybe, and that's scene at the end where he's like on the car. Like,
you don't need to see anymore.
That was my brother, and he's like, I've seen that bit obviously, but I can straight away as soon as you said it. And even a film like Face Off, which is even about this. I mean, there might be a character I've not seen it for a while, but I can imagine his editing, and it's being very similar. Like, it's very nice. It's a very 90s style editing, I think. And I've got that impression from the Furious films that they're very, very 90s, even though they kind of came out in like the early 2000s or something.
Yeah,
it's very 90s, but I don't
know. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Movie over.
Hey.
More or less. Yeah. There's some other things that happen.
They're telling
some character development.
Julie asked what's next, and Martin Lawrence promises that there will be no next time, but he lies. There's 2 next times. So fuck
exciting.
You, Martin Lawrence, for lying to me.
Yeah.
He promised no next time. Here we are.
And sure enough.
So yes, that travesty was Bad Boys. So we're going to go around in a circle. We're going to get final thoughts and scores, and then I'm going to use maths to get an overall score out of 100. Amelia, take us off first. What did you think of Bad Boys?
So, as we've mentioned multiple times, and we're probably all going to say, wasn't very memorable. I didn't really enjoy it. I didn't really get much from it. I like Will Smith, so like I'm obviously always going to enjoy him, but even that didn't even save it for me. So I'm going to be harsh, I guess, and I'm going to give it a 4.
4.
I probably could go lower, but...
Jacob, you picked the movie.
I did pick the movie. Dear God, why? I mean, I think this movie has... Like, it's not... People wouldn't know about Bad Boys if there weren't other things. So the only reason I really know about it is Hot Fuzz.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Because it gets name drops there as just being like a trashy action movie. So
Yeah.
whenever, I'm pretty sure the first time I ever saw it was on like Film 4 or something. And I was like, oh, why not? Sure. And that's the only reason I ever like came onto it. It wasn't because I was like, oh, this is like a milestone movie. Also, it's the first one for Michael Bay. Like we didn't need it at all. And I think I would have preferred it if we didn't get it.
Did we need Michael Bay though? Like honestly,
I mean, someone
he
has to
impacted
make
anyone's
it,
life,
right?
Must
Ah.
be. So.
But yeah, to begin with, after my first view, and I was like, oh, there's some of these bits that happen are like, yeah, sure, they're amusing. The more I think about it, no, it's definitely not really worthy of like a high score. So I'm similarly going to go 4.
4. Joe?
Oh, I don't know. Mine's gonna be low as well. I mean, like you said, like there's some of the improvised lines. Like I know one of the improvised lines was that bit where they're in the grocery store and he's like,
Yeah.
back up, put the gun down, and give me some fruit, whatever. And then he's like, oh, and some. I know that's an improvised line. I actually didn't. I don't know. I've heard that line before.
Mm.
This is the first time I watched it. I've heard that line before watching there. But there's too many things in it where you watch it and you're like, why have they done like the bit where that guy goes and kills Max's like boss, where he takes a sledgehammer instead of just going to shoot her. Like what? Just
Yeah.
weird stuff.
That bit's like shot like a slasher movie as well.
Yeah,
It's so weird.
It's all dark, and then it's literally just so he can throw Will Smith out the window, and it's not like, oh, why didn't you just shoot Will Smith? It's literally, I don't know.
You got yeeted out that window as well.
Literally, yeah. That's like the only reason, and he doesn't even kill him after he throws him out the window. He's like, oh, the window probably killed him. It's fine. I won't even check. I don't know. But there's too many things with it, really. So I'd probably give it a 4.
Another 4.
Yeah. Four, maybe.
So, you know what? It's not clever or big or smart to rag on Michael Bay because everyone's done it. But you know what? As an evident Transformers fan, I have waited over fucking 10 years for my moment. This movie has no filmmaking in it, shit editing, shit use of music, shit use of songs. They just fucking played it Suicide Squad style. I don't even fucking care. There's no line, there's no continuum of momentum. It is a mess to look at. Joe, you mentioned earlier how like you just start looking at your phone. People defend these movies because they're brainless action movies. They're so brainless that you have to think about it. You cannot just turn. You have to go and do something else entirely to turn your brain off because it's so obviously bad that everyone can pick out the flaws in it. This movie has a lot to fucking answer for. Everyone who saw that movie to get that 140 million fucking box office draw has got Armageddon to answer for, Bad Boys 2, all 5 fucking Transformers movies, all this shit. Families live next door to me and they're definitely asleep. I'm getting noise complaints as we speak. I hate you, Michael Bay. Hate is a strong word, but I hate you. If I was ever in a room with you, and I was ever important enough for you to recognise me, I would not shout at you, I would not lambast you, I would not heckle you or annoy you, I would ignore you, Michael Bay. I would fucking blank you, Michael Bay. Fuck you, Michael Bay. And I refuse to give this movie the same score as Vertigo, so I'll go lower again and give it a 2.
Hey.
That's fair. Fair
That
enough.
was impressive, Grant. That was impressive.
So that gives us an overall score of 35 out of 100. And Bad Boys is officially the worst movie of all time.
See, that makes me sad though, because that means that makes Vertigo the best movie of all time. I'm not sure that sits well with me either, to be honest. Like,
this brings us, though, of course, to the most important part of the show, which is finding out where we're going next. Joe, tell us what we're about to watch.
I was trying to think for ages what to do. And I was like, right, what could I do? I was going to do 2001. And I was like, no, it's too heavy hitting. Maybe later, maybe another time. Then I was like, oh, I'll do maybe Blade Runner and stuff like that. But I was like, no, okay. So obviously the new Joker film's coming out in October, isn't it? So I wanted to do something DC related. So I was like, right, okay, all these different films. So I've actually got the Blu-ray here for a big reveal. What we're doing. So for next week's film, we are gonna be watching. Can you see it? Batman Forever.
Oh, mate!
Oh.
Yeah. So Val Kilmer one. Yeah. So you got Tim. No, you've not. You've got. I can't remember who's in it.
Nice.
But right, one thing I've got to ask you is, because I've already planned out how I'm gonna do it. You need to watch the film.
Yeah.
I watch the whole film all the way through. But then I'll send you all a link. That is the deleted scenes from the film. There's it's about 15 minutes. Watch those because that's going to be something that I'm going to talk about.
I'm excited for Batman, Nicole.
Yeah. Watch the deleted scenes only after you've watched the whole film.
Okay.
So yeah, there you go.
Okay,
You might
exciting.
just get me talking about Danny Elfman the whole of that episode.
Batman Forever. I was going to do Batman and Robin, but I was like, that's bad, but it knows it's bad. Whereas Batman Forever attempts to be good, so.
Michael Keaton.
Michael Keaton is Batman, and then Batman Returns. This is the one with Val Kilmer. This is the one after the good ones, and then it's like
I'm confused.
it's like someone has taken the Tim Burton films and just vomited neon onto them. That's what these films are.
Hang on. Yeah, I got confused. Oh, okay.
Yeah, these are the ones.
It's Batman, so yeah, let's go.
So yeah, there you go. If you've not seen it already, then you're in for a treat.
Yes. Exciting.
Yeah.
Okay, join us next week, one and all, for Batman Forever. Hooray!
Like and subscribe.
Yeah.